What else would we have? What negative beliefs have we internalized and repeated to ourselves on a daily basis? I know the first thing that comes to my head: laziness. I feel like my parents called me lazy. They called me lazy in life, in a sense. My mom, it was mainly my mom. My mom kind of gave me this laziness label, and I loved it, like, in a sense.
Hmm?
Yeah, I
You
loved it.
enjoy being lazy?
Yeah, because even though she called me lazy, laziness label gave me an excuse to be doing nothing. Like,
Right.
it was like, oh, well, you know I'm lazy, so therefore.
So you're not gonna ask me nothing.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yep.
But because that became the label that she gave me, it became a label that I gave myself, that I also allowed me to be lazy, do nothing. It was like I ended up losing that drive, losing that
Mm-hmm.
ambition,
Mm.
losing, like, actually doing something for myself. And then also allow laziness, in a sense, is immaturity, you
Yeah.
know? It was allowing me to be immature and say, well, since I can't do it, then aren't you gonna do it? You know what I'm saying? So that has manifested in my life where I didn't do certain things because it would be like, well, I don't really feel like doing this. I deserve not to feel like doing this because usually I am lazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like a war between myself of not going after what I want and then saying, well, I'm lazy though. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Mm.
definitely something that I have internalized, and it actually can be negative. It is kind of negative, but it's so kind of normalized for a lot of people that it doesn't seem actually affects you being productive in your life. It actually is.
Yeah, because that only benefits you. Like your mom calling you lazy is cute and all, but now that you're an adult, you're dealing with the consequences of that.
Right. Right. And especially in execution. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been this person with all these ideas. I got all these gifts, but I'm lazy, so I'm not going to do nothing about it.
Trash.
Right. No, seriously. And that's the war that I have with myself, which is why I have to constantly feed myself, because me being around people who are motivated and saying, okay, they're doing this stuff or whatever like that, like, I'm missing a piece. I'm
Hmm.
missing the piece of myself that actually walks to do what I need to do.
Hmm.
So, like I said, that's kind of my thing. Everything else, I feel like I can reach, I can touch, I can actually get myself to get out of. But the action based thing is like my downfall. Like, I'm not about the action life, which is
Hmm.
also a part of me being around y'all. I like that y'all execute. Like, y'all help me
Right.
to execute, because literally that's probably been the worst part for me.
Hmm.
So I feel like I'm learning that
Mm.
through y'all, in a sense.
Yeah, you are.
So what about y'all? Any negative beliefs that's manifesting and internalized?
Mine is a fear of abandonment and also a fear of vulnerability.
Hmm. I never
And
saw that for you. Is that what y'all was talking about earlier?
yeah, so the
Hmm.
the fear of vulnerability is more so with men. It's not with like girls or anything. Like I totally embrace having deep female connections. I embrace all my familial connections and work connections and stuff. But when it comes to men, I be like, don't fall for this nigga.
What is it? What is it? Because honestly, it seems like you actually are the person to dive head first in, which makes me think that you're able to be vulnerable, but I don't necessarily know that. It just seems that way. Prior to your healing journey, it seems
Hmm.
like you were the one who would open. I don't know if it opening up and falling is the same thing.
For me,
It's
it's a
not.
double-edged sword because I am the type of person that dives headfirst into everything in life. So diving headfirst into romance has not worked out for me. And it hurts. I don't like when things hurt. So it that's kind of where my negative beliefs come in, is like vulnerable with the man. Oh, don't do that. Like,
Wait,
no.
so how are you able to be this emotional person? How are you able to be this, have these relationships where are you saying like, yeah, I'm in this relationship, but I'm going through the motions and I'm emotionally closed? Like, I'm missing
You
it.
mean
Like,
romantically?
what do you mean? Yeah, like,
What
because
do you
that's really
mean?
where the problem is coming from, is with men. So it's like, I see
Yeah.
you as this emotional person with men.
I
I see you as this girly person with men. I see you as you falling fast. So how are you being scared, and how are you able to have that relationship if you're not vulnerable?
Because I'm scared to do it again.
Oh, you're saying moving forward from your
Yeah, 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 yeah.
past.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
Yeah, cuz I just don't like the feeling of heartbreak, I guess. So
Mm,
like now I'm just to the point where I'm nurturing all my other relationships except the romantic ones.
mm.
And as y'all know, as from like what we talked about earlier, like I'm almost completely avoiding it. It's like
Yeah.
it's a irrational fear, and I'm
Hmm.
completely avoiding it, to the point where T was like this morning, like, don't go back into your bubble. And I was like, oh my God. Because that's where I want to
Mm.
stay, because
You know what
it's
I'm
safe.
thinking?
Because she's scary.
Yeah,
I'm
I
I
am.
I think that you knew your heartbreak with your ex, so therefore it was easier for you to keep going back, whereas you were scared to create new situations
Yeah.
and experience what the
Yeah.
result of that could be. Because I'm like, hold on, you were involved, but you were
Hmm.
involved with the heartbreak that you knew.
Yeah.
Right. And that's more comfortable for her to go back to a heartbreak she knows than to potentially get heartbroken by a new person.
Because
Yeah. So,
that would be somebody else not accepting you, and that would be somebody else
And it'll be
affirming.
another form of
right.
rejection.
Right.
And abandonment. And
Mm.
so yeah, like now I'm in this weird limbo space where like I'm not going back to the previous heartbreak, but I'm not ready to start a new one. It's like, I honestly, jumping into a new romance for me is dead ass like jumping off a cliff. Like
Right. It's like
I
you're already in
oof,
worst case scenario
it's
mode.
terrifying. The same
Yep.
fit, like I'm afraid of heights. So like the same feelings that I have about heights are the same feelings I have of vulnerability.
I actually had a thought about you yesterday, where it was just like, you are already feeling the reason that it's hard for you to go after new men is because you already feel rejected and abandoned by people you don't already know. You don't even know.
And
You
Mm-hmm.
so
isn't that the stupidest shit ever?
no, it makes so much sense.
But it doesn't though, because there's no logic based in that.
Yeah, it's
I'm
no
afraid of
logic.
something that
I,
hasn't happened yet. Fear number.
but I mean, it's no logic in the rejection that you think is going to
Exactly.
happen. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, but it's no logic in your fear of
Right, but it
Exactly.
rejection.
makes sense
Like,
of why
there is
you
no
move the
logic
way
in
you
that
move.
part.
Exactly.
That's what
Right.
I'm
Fear
saying.
is
So it's just
fear
like,
is the relinquishment of logic. So it's like, yeah, like I get it, but then again,
right.
there's
So
no
that's what I'm
logic.
saying. Like, none of it makes sense.
I know.
That's basically what my point is. I'm just like, yeah, you know
Yeah.
that, right? But that doesn't stop you from operating in that
Yeah.
fear.
Right.
So we can't say that it doesn't make sense, because it doesn't matter that it doesn't make sense, because it's still hindering you in your mind
Right.
that, like, this
Right. But it's
can't, like, I can't do this thing because it might end up how it did in the past. And I think that we just have to get out of the mindset that, like, we have to 100% understand that people are not for forever. That's just life. You know what
ooh,
I mean?
tell her.
And this person you could talk to for a few days, and they may have only been meant to be there for a few days. You know what I mean? Like, we got to
Right.
stop looking for forever in people and just start taking people for who they are, because you're assuming
Ooh.
this person that you're going to talk to is going to end up in heartbreak, but y'all might not even fall in love. You know what I mean? Like, y'all may only be
Ooh.
friends. So it's like you're boxing in what heartbreak, that every new person is going to equal heartbreak. So you're already manifesting that in your mind and projecting that onto other people, and you don't even know. And so you're making up a fear that may not even happen based on a conversation that you have not
wow.
had. Like, you don't know why people are gonna be in your life. Some men could be in your life to be friends. Some men could be in your life to introduce you to another man. You know what I mean? Like, but when you box them into automatically thinking
Prince
there's an equal heartbreak,
Charming.
or automatically thinking
Yeah.
that, right, or automatically
Shit.
thinking that person's gonna reject
Yeah.
you, it's like you don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, you have no idea. And so it's like you have to stop thinking people are going to reject you. And if they do, you will be fine. You know, and that's why I said that to you the other day. Like, what's going to happen if somebody rejects you? You're like, I die. And I'm just like, no, like, you won't. You will be fine. And
Oh my
you will,
God.
you know what I mean? Like, no does not mean rejection. Is only thing rejection means is that was not for you. And that's how you just have to look at it. Like, you were not for me, therefore I need to move on. And now I am closer to finding out what is for me. That's all you need to look at it as. And then that point, and then B, like, you're a great person. So it's their loss if they don't want to talk to you. Like, it's not no loss on you. And I think that's why I always wonder, like, you say you're super confident, but then you're scared that somebody's going to reject you. And to me, those two things don't correlate, because it's like, if you knew somebody was going to reject you, you wouldn't care because you're a bad bitch anyway. You know what I mean? Like, their rejection doesn't make or break you. Their rejection means literally nothing to you because you are confident with or without their approval.
Right. I have 2 points to what she just said. That's like the girl I was telling you about earlier, where it was like, well, I'm scared that those emotions are going to come to where I feel like I'm going to die. And it's like, now you're stronger than you ever were before. One. And the second thing is, remember that girl I was talking to yesterday, and I was like, first off, this is even more different, because for her, it was like, this is somebody that, you know, was my man and I've been with for a long time. And even though he's giving me trash or whatever like that right now, she's still trying to get her value out of the trash. And it's like, for you, you don't even know these people, and they can be even worse. They can be trash. They can be good. You don't even know them. And it's like, you're trying to get your value and your confirmation that you're good enough from trash right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let me go ahead and reach my value out of this trash. Let me get my value out of this stranger. You've been you for, I don't know how long, 30 years? You've been you for 30 years. You are the only person who can know your true value. Somebody who meets you for 5 minutes is going to know nothing versus what you know. So you can't reach in and get your self-worth and say, because honestly, the heartbreak for you represents, I was not good enough. I was not accepted. I wasn't worthy of love. And like T said, even in that mindset of heartbreak, it's like Prince Charming mentality. Like, you're not even focusing on the connections of saying, I just want to connect. And that's why I told you, you with labels is terrible. Heartbreak label. Because heartbreak is equal to Prince Charming. Like, you know what I'm saying? Heartbreak is equal to the one. Heartbreak is equal to marriage. Heartbreak is equal to, you know what I'm saying, true love. So it's like, you have to stay away from labels that equal long term. You have to be in the moment. You have to separate, get out of your head about, oh, how are they going to feel about me, blah, blah, blah. Because at this moment in time, you have to train yourself to go moment to moment.
Yeah.
Because that's where you get triggered. That's where fear comes in. That's where expectations come in. And like, at the end of the day, you see that it stalls you. It's disabling, in T's words.
It is disabling.
You can't even get started.
I know. And it's like when you said, like, you say you're confident but you're afraid of rejection, like, those two totally don't go together. So it's like, damn, which one are you? Are you confident or are you afraid of rejection?
But it makes sense as to why you're not confident, though. You, like I said, it's about it's this unconscious mentality that's happening. You in the forefront of your mind, you're like, yes, I'm ready to build these connections, but then you look at them and you still look like, you feel like a little girl, and you're like, you're gonna abandon me, you're gonna reject me. And the only way you can feel abandoned and rejected is if you have an expectation that this person is going to stay with you. But what are they staying with you for if they're just supposed to be a connection?
Right.
I think it's this back to the subconscious thing, I think it's not something you're consciously aware of. But it kind of seems like just like, and I'm only saying this because I just had this recollection earlier this week, where it's like, because I have daddy issues, the way that I date, it's like, oh, I want you to come and I want you to stay and I want you to be that unconditional love that I should have gotten.
Yeah.
And so it kind of seems like that's how you are operating with the heartbreak, right? Like, you don't want to put yourself out there because you're not only afraid of rejection, but that rejection means you are not good enough to stay.
Yeah.
And you're like, how you're taking the rejection, it means like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough for you to stay around. I'm not good enough for you to want to get to know me. Like, I'm not good enough for all these things. And so it's something you're like subconsciously, it's like little Mary's like, no, we're safe right here. Don't fuck with nothing else. Don't touch nothing. Don't move nothing. Don't go talk to nobody else. Like, little Mary is good. Don't. Oh, so it seems like little Mary is just content with what's going on and doesn't want to risk any other emotional pain. And so I think, like, just like how me and Asia were talking about, just doing like some inner child work and just making sure you're taking care of her, because that is who's stopping you. You know what I mean? And that's who's scared. You know, and so it's like a lot of the times we don't realize, like, that little person, like, if you don't take care of them, they will
take over your whole life.
They will take over you. Like, they will be like, you tried it. Like, you think you got it together, but no, like, this is how we're feeling. And blah. You know what I mean?
Like a child.
Yeah.
Right. Literally like a child. And when I think of little T, I think of a 5-year-old Thea. So it's like, that's really bad because she don't have no clue. She don't give a fuck about what you have planned, like her feelings. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why I have to be more conscious about making sure I'm like, how are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Like,
I never
just
thought
like
about
checking in with her.
I thought of my
yeah. When I think about little T, I definitely think about 5-year-olds.
I gotta think about that.
Me too.
Yeah. So, because that's the foundation of who you are, right? Like, even in the book that Asia told me about, like, your little child is like the foundation of who you are before you had responsibility. Before you had people telling you were doing something wrong, before you had the culture coming in and telling you how to not do this, how to not do that. So that's like, when you're in kindergarten, that's literally who you are as a person. And then all of the other constructs and the layers of education, all that type of things is layered on top of that 5-year-old person. So
just you even saying it again is like, oh, when I heard that, I'm like, oh,
wow.
Yeah. So you and her need to have a conversation, because that's the only way you're going to be able to move forward. Because I've had to have a conversation too about how I'm dating and how I get clingy because I want that person to love me unconditionally like my dad was supposed to.
Right.
So it's like, that's not their responsibility. So now I have to have this conversation with her. Like, you need to chill out. Like, that's not emotionally healthy. You know what I mean? And like, you have to parent that inner child. And once you start to do that, then it becomes, I mean, literally for the past few weeks, I've been having to have a battle with my inner child, and let her know that she's doing is wrong. You know what I mean? Like, literally parenting her. Even when it comes down to like me being like, because right now I'm dating, even when it comes down to me only wanting to talk to one guy at a time. Like, we can talk to multiple people, but it's because of her wanting to be loyal to her dad. She feels bad about it. You know what I mean? Like, so a lot of the emotional things from her stems from my emotional issues with my dad. So like,
so you have to be in
agreement
with your inner child.
Yeah. Right. Our not in agreement. She needs to understand what's happening.
Because you're
and I think a lot of the times we move, because I'm the adult and she's a child, so we don't have to be in agreement. But she's like, and I am that way. Like, if you tell me what we're doing and you explain to me why we're doing it, then I'm like, okay, cool. But if you just do shit and I don't know why the fuck you're doing it, then that's when the disagreement happens. And that's when I want this, or I want to go this way. And like, conscious me is like, no, we need to go this way. And there is no conversation between the two of us about why we're doing X, Y, and Z.
You know something? So it shows me that our inner child is literally unique to who we are, because I can't get down with my inner child the way that you do. Like, I need to baby my inner child. Like, she needs to be baby.
Yeah, I have to baby mine too. And that's why I was saying, like, I have to hug her, like, you know what I mean? And tell it, but still the conversation is the same. But it's me, like, it's like her sitting in my lap and me being like, we can't do this anymore. Like
Okay.
very
Because I was just checking.
comforting,
I'm like,
very comforting,
listen,
but
I
not
got
like,
you.
oh, you tripping. Yeah. No, it's a very like, I got you. We're good.
Okay.
Like, this is what's happening. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very like
Okay.
how I would talk, because I used to work with kids, so it's definitely how I would talk to a 5-year-old.
Right. Okay.
But it's definitely like, I am the adult, and I understand you have your emotions about X, Y, and Z. But in order for us to move forward in a healthy way, this is how we're gonna have to operate, and just kind of explaining it to her in a very childlike way.
Yeah.
But as long as I explain it to her, she can then move forward and understand.
Yeah.
But when I don't explain shit to her, that's when we get into this conflict of like,
war.
She wants to go one way, and right. She wants to go one way and I want to go another way. And like I said, just imagine me at 5 years old, like, because I'm already resistant and I'm already emotional and I'm already a brat. So she has it to the 100th degree. Like, that's where it stems from.
Right.
So
my inner
it's
child
like,
get offended like instantly.
instantly, like, what? Like, you know what I mean? So having that conversation with little Mary, maybe you two can move forward.
Yeah, little Mary is girl.
I have not talked to her, so all of this is very new to me.
I'm scared of little Mary.
I absolutely need to talk to her before I like for real jump into dating, because man,
girl, little Mary, I can't even imagine little Mary.
And so the first time I ever had a conversation with little T is when my mom passed away. And so my mom passed away, like, when I was little, and I would go shopping with her. She would always, or I would always walk off. I'm not gonna say we would like walk apart from each other, like, because as the explorer as I am as an adult, that's how it was as a kid. Like, I would just walk off. But when I couldn't find her, I would go into this panic and I would just say her name. Like, I would just like, Mommy. Like, I didn't look for her. I would just scream, because looking for shit that I can't find gives me anxiety still to this day. And it did as a kid too. So I would just like, I would like say her name, but she would just come find me, because I would like hide in the clothes, like do all type of crazy shit. So like by the time I came out the clothes, I didn't know where the fuck she was. So when my mom passed away, literally little T felt like I was in this big ass empty space, like metaphorically, like the world. But when I said my mom's name, she didn't answer. So that is how I felt when she passed away. Like, where is my mom? Like, I'm looking for my mom. And that's when the connection happened between like me consciously and Lil T. Like, because that's how, like, when I had to explain to somebody how I felt, that was the only thing I can think of. And that's when I was like, damn, that's 5-year-old Thea. Like, that's not a subconscious. That's literally, like, I literally see a little me, you know, however I look at 5 years old, but like, that's how I saw her. And so when I get emotional and I can like back into my subconscious and be like, where is this feeling coming from? Like, that is where it all started. So it's been like 6 years now almost.
It's obvious that it's in regards of your father, but I think that you literally see your father every time you see a man and you're like, abandonment, rejection. You know what I'm saying? I think that's just, it's clear cut and dry here. Because there's no other way that you can be scared of someone you don't even know. There's no other way. Like, these men are a huge representative of your father.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, you're scared of even the emotions. And it's so interesting to me. Like, I understand. I see how much stronger you've gotten. I see how I was more excited for you to get into it now, because I know how much stronger you are. You know what I'm saying? But you're so scared of who you used to be.
I am.
Like, you felt so helpless and hopeless, like a victim. And it's like, bro, we on a whole nother level now. And the thing that like gets me excited the most is now knowing like you got me. Like, you got support in me. Like, I get you. I'm not going to let you get on this journey and be like, oh yeah, go ahead, girl. Like, no, like, now if you're really willing to grow and be clear cut and like transparent and vulnerable and say like, yo, this is what's happening. I feel like it's going this way. But you know what I'm saying? Just being open with that process, I think that it will help you in even helping you to navigate through that. Just like with T, like, she may have her process together in a sense, but it's still a journey that confuses you. You know what I'm saying? And if we can offer perspectives, if she can offer herself perspectives, whatever the case may be, she's way stronger than she was with her last relationship. That's faith enough in itself.
Yeah.
Have you taken time to
Oh,
truly
right.
get to know
Yeah.
you, love and value yourself? Can you look in the mirror and be okay with who you are right now at this moment and still push forward?
Like Asia already said, like I kind of definitely have gone through a rough patch uh, of trying to figure out my self worth and my self value. Like, definitely after losing my mom and like relocating to Virginia, I was like, looking back on it, I thought I was good, but I was definitely lost and grieving. And I feel like, you know, for anybody that is grieving, like grieving is a process. Like, I still grieve to this day, you know what I mean? But looking back on it, like I was definitely lost and definitely looking for men to fill the voids in my life. And trying to also, but still being my ambitious self. So it's so very weird because even though I was in like 2 toxic relationships, uh, I that never stopped me from like completing my goals and moving forward in life. And I think that's just a part of my nature. Like regardless of relationships ending or not, I still need to make sure that I'm taking care of T. So I am in a much better space now where I'm not looking for men to fill my voice, even though little T is having a problem with that. It definitely has been a struggle, but I can definitely look at myself in the mirror now and know that I am valuable and truly know that I bring a lot to the table. And I, regardless if you're my friend or trying to date me or trying to be in my space, you need to be able to recognize that and respect that, because I'm a good friend and I'm a good person and I know those things. But it definitely took a while for me to get there.
I'm really good with where I am at. Like after what you just said, T, like I realized that I kind of use men like for like the laziness that I kind of had. I use men in regards to thinking like, oh, you're gonna save me from my life.
Mm-hmm.
And when I chose a man who wasn't going to save me, I relied back on my father to save me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I started seeing things weren't going my way, my inner child was going crazy, negative thoughts and all of that stuff. So now that me and my inner child have that agreement where I check in with her so she can vent emotionally, you know what I'm saying? And then she allows me to have the freedom to have confidence over my life rather than her taking over my life just to get what she needs to say out. I feel like, you know, I'm really good. I also feel like now that I've added in regards to the voice in my head, I feel like now that me and her are good, the voice in my head isn't bad at all. Like I rarely get that. And I also been meditating a lot. So that way I don't have to feel like I have no control over that voice. I don't have, you know, that controlling me as well, because I feel like emotionally your inner child takes over, but in regards of that voice, it kind of has its own life in a sense as well. Like, so there's two things, your body and your mind, that you're constantly battling. And I feel like the meditation's helping me out with my mind. And in regards to my body, me now nurturing her, being there for her because I'm the only one who can, is now setting me free for me to be able to move forward in my life with confidence and just happiness, just not being boggled down with life, you know, things that happen and stuff like that. Because once you know, you are in control of both of those areas, like that's just your key to how you see life anyway.
Right.
You know, that's the key to how you
Mm-hmm.
experience life. And once you are free from that, then you should be good. You know what I'm saying? The world is your oyster. You can do whatever it is you want. So I'm in the place where I'm just now being set free. And it's like, what you gonna do with it? So I'm just moving forward from there.
That's good. So as far as taking the time to love myself, yes, I have. I've been alone for some months and I've been focused on just building myself back up, my self-esteem, you know, finding activities, finding healthy distractions and activities that make me feel good, that contribute to my higher purpose in life. Um, but as far as like healing myself, I can't say that I've done like work on it yet for real because I'm still just sticking to my little bubble where nothing bad happens, and all my friendships are good, my relationships are good, work is good, and I'm enjoying this bubble. But I know that I have to dig a little deeper and heal myself and my inner child. And I it's not that I'm like dreading doing it. It's just kind of scary for me, but it'll get done. that's
I'm crying.
that's really all I can say. Like I'm still just kind of towing the line between like good and safe. So like I'm not ready.
Yeah, that makes sense in a way too. I never thought about the breakdown of you feeling like just getting your
Mhm.
self-esteem back is a
Mhm.
process, which is understandable because it's like, okay, so for example, T's dating, but she also had a healthier sense of
Right.
self-esteem in a sense. So
Right.
it's like, even when she would go through stuff, at least she can bounce off of the self-esteem she
Right.
already has to battle it.
Right. Whereas whenever things happened with me, it was like the end of the world because
I
yeah,
deserve it.
and that
Mm.
yeah, because I had a low concept of self-worth. So yeah, that is also part of me just being in this safe zone right now. Like, okay, we know our worth, so we're just gonna stay safe and not really too much worry completely about dating yet because we know that's our problem area, and that's where things
Hmm.
get unsafe, and that's when the triggers come out.
At the end of the day, you love men. It's gonna be, regardless, it's gonna happen. So it's not like you can stay
I
on in this
know.
bubble forever. Yeah, it's gonna, no, it's not even I know, it's going to happen regardless because of something that you want. It's not like, what I'm saying, you don't want to be with a man or you don't want that presence regardless. It's just that right now you're in a place where, like you said, if you're building yourself up and you're trying to get that self-esteem, or like you said, do those activities to give yourself balance, because even when you get in a relationship, you're going to need
Yeah.
that balance as well. So I understand that aspect of it, but eventually you're going to run into men and actually want to have more with them outside of, whether
Mhm.
it's sex or just a few dates or whatever like that. You're going to get to the place where you're going to start being triggered because you want
Mhm.
to be with men.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you can't get to a place where you feel vulnerable, feel valuable to yourself because of how old you are or where you are in life, don't let that hinder you. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of self-reflection, and you have to add the value to yourself that you want others to add to you. It can't be vice versa. People aren't going to value you more than you value yourself. You have to value yourself more, and make people get to the level in which you want to be valued. Thank y'all for listening to another episode of Growing Healing and Shit on inner dialogue and self-awareness. We hope that you enjoyed it. Please rate and subscribe to our podcast and follow us on all social media platforms. We love y'all. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.